Hey guys, welcome back to another segment of Chai with Charity. This week I'm going to be talking a little bit about motherhood. I have a little confession to make. When I first found out I was pregnant, I went out and bought every book that you could read on being a mother, what to expect when expecting, and I had this expectation in my mind of what kind of mother I was going to be. I was basically going to be a perfect mother. I would read to my children every day to grow their mind strong. We would never eat sugar, only organic baby food. There'd be no TV. But if we did, it would be something educational, like Baby Einstein or something. And so I had these expectations of myself, and they were great. All those things are great things that you would want for your children. But something happened, and you know where this is going. I know you do. I had more kids. I would have days where I was tired, days where I was busy, days where everybody was tired and everybody was cranky. And things didn't just go according to plan. I made baby food once, and my whole kitchen was a disaster. There was green goo everywhere, and I'm like, this ain't happening. So scratch that off my list. No more homemade baby food. That was just too much work. And that wasn't the first thing I scratched, or the last thing I scratched off. In fact, I was scratching off stuff left and right. Because those days when I could barely keep my eyes open because one or two of my kids were up all night thinking they needed to be fed. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I'd be so tired. So guess what? Dora became a babysitter, and she didn't really teach us any Spanish, so she wasn't that educational. And one after another, things were not my utopian family that I had envisioned that we would be having. And it really made me feel guilty. I felt like I was failing as a mother. And the older my kids got, the more there was a gap between my perfect mother, perfect family, idealistic image that I had created in my mind and reality. And I couldn't let it go. I had so much guilt and shame that I wasn't able to create this sort of environment for my family. And then when my personal life unraveled a couple of years ago, it made it even worse. I felt even more guilty and more ashamed because now I've done jacked up my kids. They're gonna need to go to counseling for sure now. And I just felt so much guilt and so much shame, to the point where there would be days that I think, I shouldn't even be a mother. Why am I even a mother? I just totally screwed up these children's lives. And it was really hard, and it really just took a toll on me. And it wasn't until I was introduced to a psychiatrist from the 50s, and he coined a phrase called good enough mother. And hearing about his studies really, really changed my perspective on the type of mother I needed to be. Because he would watch mothers interacting with their kids, and he discovered something, that mothers that were imperfect, they didn't create a perfect world for their children, and they didn't make sure their children had everything in their life in a perfect form. They actually were preparing their kids better for life. And it was so revolutionary for me to think that me, as an imperfect mom, was actually benefiting my children, my imperfect children, how to go out and live in this imperfect world. It was huge. It really, really helped me to realize it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be real. And that's when I discovered that it's less important to be perfect and always get it right than it is to say, I'm sorry, I just messed up. And, as a parent, it's pretty humbling to go to your kids and say, I just totally screamed at you, and it is not okay. And it's not your fault that I screamed at you. It's my fault. I should have kept myself in control, and I didn't. So what I've just taught my kids right there is how to fail gracefully, how to heal relationships, how to go in and kind of clean up the mess you make. And they're also learning themselves how to forgive and how to heal relationships and move on and still love in the midst of this imperfect world. And it's been great. It's been so freeing to know that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to mess up in front of my kids, but I just need to make sure I go and show them how to clean it up when I do mess up, and just be honest and be real and say I don't have it all figured out. That's okay. So here's to being a good enough mom. Cheers.